Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Empire Secrets. I have got an extra pep in my step and excitement in my voice today because I just had a massive revelation. That was the title of the text that I sent my best friend, who I basically send podcasts to back and forth every day. And so I want to share that on the podcast today. It's really personal. And if I'm being honest, I don't know how much after listening to this episode, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I really learned something for myself. Or maybe you're going to listen to this episode and be like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to hear. I have been there before. I am there right now. And I'm so glad I listened to this episode. So it's kind of like I want to apologize in advance if this is not useful to you at all. But I do feel like at some point in time, you have either experienced this, you are experiencing this right now, or you may experience this as an entrepreneur, only because I feel like what I'm experiencing right now is, it's not just me. I don't think it's exclusive to my own experience. And before I dive in, I want to share that I'm so proud of myself. This is kind of ridiculous. I can get ready so fast. I literally don't touch my hair and I just put a little bit of mascara on and that's it. I sat down, turned on the light, and am recording this episode. So I kind of feel sometimes that I run my business like a man, like a male entrepreneur, where it's like, bro, you're fine, right? Like no man spends hours in front of the mirror or getting their hair done. Like I know entrepreneurs who literally pay someone to come into their house once a week to get their hair done. But anyway, I digress. I want to go back to the main part of this episode, the main thing I want to share, why I am so excited right now. If you've been following this podcast, you know that a few months ago, I decided to not pivot in my business, but like focus or sharpen my focus on something different. And that different was the agency slash done for you brand video system part of my business. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Mariana Henninger. I'm an Emmy Award winning documentary filmmaker turned marketer. I'm obsessed with marketing. I love to help businesses grow, accelerate trust and sales in digital marketing, doing that, automating trust at scale by using one single video in all these different ways. It's an entire system that you install in your business. And once you've installed it in your business, it works for you 24/7. You don't have to touch it. And this video, which I call the brand trust video, the brand story video, it's a video that tells your story in a way that quickly creates an emotional connection with cold audiences, meaning that you stand out right away, meaning that they remember who you are forever. You have created a connection with them. There's real estate that you've occupied in their heads so that every time you do show up again, whenever they see you again, all of these feelings have already been established and they are so much closer to buying from you as a result. And we've seen that through many case studies of my clients, as well as buyer psychology. This is what works. And so in the age of AI, where there's a lot of content out there, where there's a lot of people competing, so much noise. In fact, I just read a post by Jen Gottlieb where she was talking about the first time that she spoke at an event where she had traveled to. She was invited to speak. And instead of going up on stage, they just like put her in the corner of this room where there were people speaking at all sorts of different corners. And there was a bunch of noise. There was all this chaos. People were walking by, and sometimes they'd stop and listen to her for a little bit, and then they walk on. And that just like painted a picture of what it is like to be in the online space right now. There's so much noise. There's so many people competing for your attention. And, the scroll stopping, yada yadas, and they only go so far if you're a sophisticated buyer that is being exposed to a lot of that. And you kind of, and especially if you're a marketer yourself, you're like, I know what's going on here. And so regardless of who you're selling to, you're still competing for their attention because they're getting bombarded with content. And so the way to stand out. So for example, if people had known Jen, if they knew who she was before they saw her at this event, they would have stopped and listened to her because they would have connected already. Like, I know this girl. Like, yes, I know her story. I know what she's about. And that's what we do in your brand video. And so, going back to what I was sharing, a few months ago, I decided to, by the way, this is like total build in public situation here. I am sharing the behind the scenes of my business as it's happening, which is a little scary, but I've decided to embrace it and do it anyway. And thank you for coming with me on this journey. So, a few months ago, I decided that I was retiring my Done With You program, the Brand Video Accelerator, and I was going to focus on the agency side, meaning focus on our Done For You clients, because it was picking up and I wanted to explore a couple of different niches. And the reality is that the business end hasn't been so much of a struggle. It's been me. I have struggled with building the agency side. And I realize it's because I've never built an agency before. You know, I'm a business owner of about 3 years, and there's a lot that I've learned in 3 years. Oh my gosh, there's so much that I've learned in 3 years. However, most of what I've learned has been around building an online business, building a program, building a course, which I have, which is the brand video system, and selling online. Whereas starting an agency, or really scaling the agency, where I have to have a lot of people that are qualified that I'm speaking to close, you know, a percentage of them, has been really, really tough on me. This is an entire skill set that I have not developed, that I don't have. And yes, I love speaking to people and closing them, but in order for me to focus entirely on growing the agency side, I need to do this a lot. And the tricky part that I learned about my business, this is where it may or may not ever apply to you, but I'm sharing it anyway. The tricky part about my business is that business owners are not typically out there looking for a brand video. They're not looking for what I offer. And what they're looking for is, yes, faster sales. They want to optimize their systems, which is what I do. And they want, you know, they want to run ads. Like, they're looking for the solutions that they are aware of to the problems that they're aware of. And what I offer, the brand video system, is a solution they're not aware of to a problem they're aware of. And it takes education, you know, shifting away from the belief that the only way to gain trust is by volume. I spoke recently about folks that I know that are posting 10 times a day on Facebook, which is crazy to me. So that is the belief that a lot of us that sell online have, is that we need to be omnipresent. We need to be in all of the things and all of the channels. We need to be there on them all the time in order to stand out and build trust. Like, standing out is basically shouting louder in all of this noise. And the belief that I shift, because this works and because I have proven case studies, is that you don't have to shout louder in order to be heard. You can instead connect more deeply in order to be felt. And when you are felt, people remember you and they trust you and they buy from you faster. And so the thing I can't do in my business is cold call, right? I can't get a list of leads. So listen, I have been reading book after book on how to build an agency. I have been going to trainings. And the thing that everyone says is, like, in order to build an agency, you need to just cold call. You need to, like, have thousands of leads that you reach out to, right? And then some of them will say yes. And the reality is that if I cold call people for this high-end offer that I have, they're not going to know what the heck I'm talking about. It takes a while to educate people on this new solution. I'm literally offering them a ride in a car when all they've done their whole business is bump around in a horse and buggy. And the car needs to be explained. The car is something that might feel a little scary. It's something they've never been in and never experienced. And it costs a lot more than a buggy. And so for all of those reasons, I feel like, you know, the way that I described it to my friends was like, I feel like I am pushing the pedals on the bike and the chain is loose. And so it's not like I'm spinning my wheels. It's literally, I'm trying to get traction and move forward, but something inside of me is blocking me. It's disconnected. And I know that part of that discomfort comes from doing something new. And so this is why I've hesitated on pivoting away from my refocus, because this entire time I'm telling myself, like, it's uncomfortable because it's new. It's uncomfortable because I'm still learning it. It's uncomfortable because it's different. It's not comfortable. It's not my comfort zone. And yet I feel like I've now gotten to the point where it's uncomfortable because it's not the right thing for me to focus on. And what I decided to do when I woke up this morning, I had this massive revelation, which is, instead of clearing my entire plate to focus on this new shift in my business, which I've done and what I've been focusing on, I'm going to do the opposite. I am going to focus most of my time on what I already know works, which is selling the brand video system. And I'm going to spend a smaller portion of my time developing the relationships that will get me closer to the agency side thriving and like expanding even more. And what that means is, instead of doing the volume approach of cold calling, I'm going to do a 10x is easier than 2x approach of focusing on the specific relationships that I'm building and can continue to build that will get me in with the niches that I think will just eat it up. You have to sell to a hungry audience. I don't want to retrofit my solution, my delicious curated handmade sushi meal, to people who are okay eating McDonald's and are eating hot dogs. So I don't want to force a solution that's not right for the market. I want to find the market that is so hungry for my solution, because not only does it solve the problems that it solves for everyone, it solves even other problems. For example, there are niches that I'm exploring that don't spend time online. They're not playing the volume game. They don't want to play the volume game. They don't have time to play the volume game. They hate the volume game. They would prefer to spend money on ads to get leads, right? They would prefer to pay somebody. They do not want to create social media content all the time, but they realize like that works, right? But they don't want to do it and they don't have the bandwidth for it. And the way the brand video solves that is that it replaces all of this volume with one single video. So the idea that they in one go can create a video that is going to last them for years, and that every cold lead coming through those ads will feel that connection with them, will see that they stand out over everyone else, will feel so drawn, so much trust is developed there so quickly that they are a lot more likely to say yes, and will say yes a lot faster than they would normally. That is the audience that I want to speak to with the high-end done-for-you offer. So what that means for me is this. I am excited. I am excited because I get to do what I know how to do. I'm excited because I get to build out my funnels, build out this entire Evergreen ecosystem that will sell the course, the brand video system course. What I may do is just start with a flash sale. But what I'm going to do is, like, between now and Black Friday, I am going to do a big push on Black Friday that is not going to be better than this flash sale. So this flash sale will be the best offer ever. And if I do anything that's better on Black Friday and you're like, oh my gosh, I bought during your flash sale, just let me know and I'll make it right. So I will honor my word that the Friday sale will not be better than this flash sale, but they both will go away in a very time limited fashion. And in between, I am going to work on creating the webinar, running the ads, building the nurture funnel, everything that I need to have, like all these pieces that I know I need to build in order to sell my course on Evergreen. And I'm so excited, first of all, because it's going to be a lot more affordable for everyone than it has been so far to work with me. So in our Done For You offer today starts at 20K. Our accelerator program was 3 to 5K, and this offer is going to be less. So you're going to be able to have access to, or if you're interested, I'm speaking to you just, because I'm assuming this resonates with you, but folks who buy now will have access to the entire system. Everything that I add from here on out will be included, but everything that I use with my high-end clients is in that system for much, much less. Obviously, you're paying less, so you'll have less of my own touch and my own coaching. However, there will be options to add that if you feel like, listen, system sounds great, a program sounds great, but I really need that high touch, there will be options to add that. But that is how I am building out my system. So with all that said, I'm going to end this episode here because I am running to the beach with my 12-week year plan that I'm finishing right now. I am running with my laptop and my power bank and my phone, and I'm going to set up shop for the rest of the day. It's actually supposed to rain at like 5. And so I have a couple hours at the beach that I'm going to get the best work done. I'm so excited about being super productive again. I feel like, yes, I took a break over the summer, but I am ready to be productive again and to like dive into what I already know how to do. And I know that setting up these funnels and having these sales come in consistently will just be fuel to the fire to build the agency side of the business in the interim. And I know that's going to take a bit of time and trust building, on a relationship level, figuring out how to sell to these new niches. All of it is going to take some time. And so I love the idea of having my Evergreen funnel set up in the interim. I will also share another quick update, which is that a lot of my students from the Brand Video Accelerator, the last cohort that I ran, their brand videos are now starting to get edited, and they're so good coming back from my editing team who's crushing it. And I always have notes. I always, finesse their edits, but I'm so proud of them because they're really bringing everything to life. I'm so proud of my students who did such an amazing job filming. Yesterday, I showed a student the first draft of her brand video, and like I had gotten teary-eyed. She was also super emotional watching this first cut, and it's not even done yet. So very, very excited about those results and the testimonials and case studies that are coming from this last cohort of the accelerator. And that all that means is that my program, the course, is going to be even better. So this was a super selfish behind the scenes episode of this podcast. I hope that was helpful for you. I was on the struggle bus, if I'm being honest. Like, it was so hard to move forward with that blockage, with that resistance. Like, the resistance can be good and the resistance can be bad. It can be a sign that you're not actually going the path that you should be going. And so I think the challenge is really understanding the difference, right? When is the resistance the natural resistance that you need to overcome when you're doing a hard thing that's new? And when is the resistance a sign that you're not actually pursuing things in the way that you should be? I don't have the answer to that. I just know that I felt so much peace when I made that shift this morning that I could not wait to come on here and share about it. I could not wait to tell my friends about it. I'm overjoyed. And I am taking that as the right sign, as there's no right answer, right? It's not wrong for me to pursue the agency side, just like it's not wrong for me to pursue the Evergreen side. There's no right answer. So I can't go wrong. I know that both will succeed. I just feel more aligned with building the Evergreen side right now so that the agency side can be nurtured with care and with intention, with no pressure, which is how I like to build things. So anyway, my friends, I hope this resonated with you. If you've learned anything at all, if you want to give me a thumbs up on this episode because there was something in here that touched you, let me know. I know that I've shared it with a bunch of my friends already, and already one of them has shared it back to me and said, I'm going through the exact same thing, Mariana. So I'm so glad you shared this with me. And coming up next on the podcast are a bunch of amazing guests that I've been kind of holding at bay. We're going to have Pat Flynn on the podcast coming up very soon. So keep an eye out for that episode. Amazing value. I also have a bunch of other guests that have been lined up, and my assistant right now is reaching out to them for them to book their recordings. And so that's in the pipeline for you guys. Everything from, we have a trademark attorney coming on. We have a PR rock star, Nicole Pearl, coming on. We have Carlin Bushman, who is an amazing product person. So I've not had a product business person on the podcast yet, and she's phenomenal with helping product-based businesses scale. What else do we have in the pipeline? We have a functional medicine doctor who is coming on, who works exclusively with high-achieving female entrepreneurs. I'm excited to talk with her because I'm in a total health journey right now. Anyway, there's a lot of amazing folks coming on, so definitely stay tuned to Empire Secrets for the upcoming episodes. I hope that you're enjoying your summer. I hope that you're having a fabulous week. Reach out to me as always on Instagram at Brand Magnetic. I'm going to be more active again, so watch out for that. And I'm also on LinkedIn at Mariana Henninger. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Empire Secrets. Bye for now.